All right, guys, so another company has gone woke. And for whatever reason, I don't understand why this is happening. But this time, we have Home Depot, which is a store for home appliances, tools, right? It's simply a store for picking up items for your home, right? But for whatever reason, they feel the need to shame their employees for their white privilege, right? And the internet has been all over this, right? People from both sides of the aisle have a whole lot to say about this, as they got exposed by one of their employees after they handed out a graphic that basically outlines what privilege is, right? It defines privilege, and then it tells you what privilege looks like, okay? And let's go ahead and actually take a look at this document and see what conclusions we can come to here before we get into the reactions and the details about this. So it says leading practices, unpacking privilege. They define privilege here. Okay, they say white privilege, specifically. Social privileges that benefit white people beyond what is commonly experienced by people of color under the same social, political, and economic circumstances. Okay, so, here's the thing. The employees that work at Home Depot, right? Now, you're working in the retail space. It's nothing wrong working in retail, okay? It's an admirable job. I work in retail. Hey, it is what it is. But I don't think that the people that are working in the Home Depot in retail would define themselves as privileged, regardless of your race or your skin color. Okay, I don't think they would define themselves as privileged. And this is what gets me about people with this whole white privilege thing. People don't understand that, there are people in this country, regardless of their skin color, that go through trials and tribulations, right? That they have a hard life, that they gotta get it out the mud, so to speak. Okay, they're not born with, a perfect hand. Okay, and when you tell those people that they're privileged simply because of their skin color, that's just not going to connect with people, right? Because nobody really feels privileged in this society if you're a normal, everyday, working class American. You got to work for everything that you earn, for the most part, okay? So I really don't understand this obsession with white privilege, and why in the world would a corporation want to highlight this stuff and potentially alienate the people that are working there? What does privilege look like? It says, if you're confident that the police exist to protect you, you have white privilege. So I guess I got white privilege because I actually am confident that the police exist to protect us for the most part. Okay. If while growing up, college was an expectation of you, not a dream, you have class privilege. Well, my parents expected me to go to college, so I guess I got class privilege too. If you can expect time off from work to celebrate your religious holidays, you have Christian privilege. Well, I guess I have Christian privilege as well too, right? I mean, are you advocating that we take off for every holiday, right? Should every religious holiday somebody get time off for? So we celebrate all of them? Is that what you're suggesting? Because I'm not necessarily sure how that would work. Or are you saying that, some people should get holidays off based off, what their religion is? Is that what you're suggesting? If you can use public bathrooms without stares, fears, or anxiety, you have cisgender privilege. Well, I guess I have that too, right? Even though there are weird people in the bathroom that will stare at you. So I don't know. If you don't have to worry about how to get into a store, you have able-bodied privilege. I've heard that one before. If you don't have to explain that your spouse is of the same gender, you have heterosexual privilege. If you don't have to think about your privilege, it's a privilege. Check your privilege, all right? So then they come here to define racism, which is racial prejudice plus power, okay? They define it the woke way. That's the leftist definition of racism. And there's another page here, right? There's another form that talks exclusively about white privilege, right? And they talk about why it's uncomfortable to talk about white privilege. They say the word white creates discomfort, especially when individuals are not used to being defined or described by their race. When people hear the word privilege, they feel like it suggests that they have never struggled. I mean, it does suggest that you've never struggled. White privilege does not mean your life has not been hard. It simply means that the color of your skin is not one of the reasons that makes it harder. I don't know about that in 2022. Have you heard of affirmative action? Right? Have you heard of that? If you're Asian or white, you're at a disadvantage when it comes to college admissions, bro. I'm just saying, okay? And that has been applied across the board. So, hey, it might not necessarily have been true in the past, but in today's society, I'm not necessarily sure if what this document is saying is true. So, yeah, you guys can get the gist here, right, of what this corporation is putting out. This is classic woke HR, stuff, right? That's what it is. So there's been some Twitter responses to this that I thought were pretty interesting. The first one from Serious Woke Black. It says, if this Home Depot privilege guys upset you, you're the reason why it's needed. As a black woman, there are 4 privilege boxes I can check on this form, which I have no problem acknowledging. Those averse to this truth know and enjoy their privilege, but don't like it called out. I mean, there's no point. Like, what's the point? You just create more division among people. Saying that people have privilege just because of their skin color is ridiculous. And then Jennifer Ellie says, so for everyone declaring they're not shopping at Home Depot because they tried to do some lazy, half-ass anti-racism education, wait till you guys find out how BIPOC people are racially profiled at all your favorite big box stores on a daily basis. Well, I mean, I don't think I've ever been racially profiled in the store. I can't testify that has ever affected me. But, hey, this is what some of the wokes that support this stuff are saying, because there are a lot of people out there that are basically saying, hey, we're not shopping at Home Depot anymore because of how they're characterizing their employees, right? Subjecting them to this anti-racism training. So let's actually read about what's going on here. A Canadian branch of Home Depot sparked outrage after they posted a notice to employees about the benefits of white privilege and included a checklist for those who are white, male, Christian, cisgender, able-bodied, and heterosexual. The notice, which is entitled Leading Practices Unpacking Privilege, was posted in an employee lounge at a Home Depot in Calgary, Alberta. Thus, a spokeswoman from Home Depot headquarters confirmed to the Post that the white privilege notice was material from its Canadian division. She said it hadn't been approved by the company's diversity and inclusion department. The flyer had a Home Depot logo at the top. The Canadian staffers, who were apparently given the learning material, were encouraged to acknowledge social privileges that benefit white people beyond what is commonly experienced by people of color under the same social, political, and economic circumstances. Again, my question is, what does this have to do with the bottom line? Right? What does this have to do with making more money? What does this have to do with selling screwdrivers, right? Plants, okay? Household goods, hardware, right? What does it have to do with selling any of that stuff? It doesn't have anything to do with it. Is it going to make the employees better to know that they have white privilege? That's my question. I really don't understand what is the point. Workers at the Home Depot branch were also urged to discuss their white privilege while being told that the word white creates discomfort, especially when individuals are not used to being defined or described by their race. So nobody should want to be defined solely based off their race or skin color. Hoping to celebrate Christmas, the flyer says, if you can expect time off from work to celebrate your religious holidays, you have Christian privilege. Staffers were also told in the notice that if you're confident the police exist to protect you, you have white privilege. People were asked to check a box to determine what privileges they had. The choices were white, male, class, Christian, cisgender, able-bodied, and heterosexual. It's not clear if the packet of information was simply informational or if it was part of a group learning exercise or if Canadian employees had to actually fill out the privilege forms and turn them in to management. The U.S. spokeswoman for Home Depot told the Post that the information was not officially sanctioned as part of any required company-wide training. So somebody went rogue. Okay, somebody either went rogue or you're lying, because Home Depot has their logo up here. Okay, they have their branding up here. Okay, it looks like a font that they would use. So I don't really understand, like, is this something they were planning on releasing, right? Did it get released in a test run, okay, and then it got leaked to the public? Who knows? But to me, it sounded like something they were considering, which in my opinion is bad enough, okay? The spokesperson didn't immediately say whether information had to be discontinued in its Canadian division. In a statement to the Post, the spokeswoman said, quote, while we fully support diversity across our company, this material was not created or approved by our corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion department. This was a resource in our Canadian division and not part of any required programming. So you have a diversity, equity, and inclusion department. That tells you all you need to know about what Home Depot is about, okay? That tells you all you need to know. Some of the package privilege warnings, so we've already went over this. The company does not require that the content of the notice be taught as a part of its diversity and inclusion initiative, a source familiar with the matter told the Post. Some conservatives and free speech advocates have denounced attempts by companies and colleges to impose woke indoctrination. Quote, imagine how messed up people have to be before a major corporation decides to post this in their break room, one user said on Twitter. Still, others said they thought it was amazing that Home Depot was addressing white privilege and other issues. I don't understand why they simply just, don't focus on selling hardware. I really don't understand. I really don't get it. Okay? But, hey, at the end of the day, this is why you need companies like Daily Wire, right? Maybe Daily Wire needs to start a hardware business, right? They start a hardware company where they sell hardware, right? And household goods and appliances. Maybe that's what they need to do, because all of these companies, every single last one of them, are going woke, okay? Every single last one of them. And it's really a shame that this is what is happening in this country right now. And I think a lot of this is being led by woke corporate America. They're forcing down people's throat. It's forced on us in media, entertainment. It's just forced on us everywhere, man. Like, it is clear that the elitists in our society simply want to divide and conquer. And I think this is another example of that. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.